My name is Jason Parr, and I'm an elder here at New Life City Church.
I'm Jacob Offel.
I'm Matt Collier.
I'm Troy Campbell. I'm super excited to be chatting here today with Matt, especially, but all of us are going to jump in on this one. And Matt is one of our youth leaders at New Life City Church, and also is going on the trip to Dominican Republic. So love to hear a little bit about your story. And Matt's also an awesome soccer player and an awesome soccer coach and a basketball coach. I'll have to ask him about that as well. So there's a lot to find out on this episode. But Matt, just tell us a little bit about your background, where you're from, and some of your experiences growing up.
For sure, yeah. So born in Kansas City, so I've been here all my life. Lived in Lee Summit, went to Summit Christian Academy from kindergarten through 12th grade, so that was like my home away from home when I was a kid. I was there all the time. My brother went there with me as well. He's just a little bit older than me. He has 3 kids, so Uncle Matt over here. Yeah, crazy. So that was kind of growing up in my schooling, and in church we were involved pretty heavily in a church out in Blue Springs. I was the kid that went to 3-4 services because my dad was on staff at the church, so I was always there, always around. And then college, came out here to Rockhurst University, played soccer there, and that was some good times with soccer for sure. Very successful. 3 out of my 4 years went to the Final Four for Division II, so that was a blast of a time for soccer. And then now, currently I work north of the river with like 5 or 6 people here from New Life at e-shipping, and move freight, which is exciting. And I sit in front of 3 screens all day, so it's kind of different from playing college soccer, but I get my fill, like Troy said, I get my fill of soccer with coaching. I coach Troy's two of Troy's kids, Dallas and Isaiah, and we actually coach together, so it's kind of fun to do that. And then
Matt's the head coach, and everybody else thinks I am because some people think I look older than him.
The girl last night went to Troy and was like, "Hey Troy, hey, you ready to check in the kids?" I was like, "Hey, I'm right here." And so, and then we actually coached basketball too, which was insane. We basically wrote a movie script. I'm sure you've heard. If you haven't heard about it, come talk to us. But yeah, we coached kids at the Boys and Girls Club. We took them to the Final Four of that at the college basketball experience. First day, the kids showed up in cowboy boots and jeans, and so it was that was crazy. But yeah, love coaching, love giving back to the kids, and then I also help with the youth here. Tim is our youth leader here, and he's kind of rounded up a good group of people to kind of take these kids and stay with them in their journey and just be there for them. And Jason's kids are actually in our group, so it's fun to get to know them.
Sure.
So.
Is it?
Yeah, it is.
You're being serious?
Yeah, it is. For real.
I'm just kidding.
Good.
I think they're good.
What drew you to New Life initially?
Yeah, so first service I ever came to New Life was actually at the old building.
Okay, cool.
So that was interesting. And then second service I came was down here to the left at the, what's that called? I don't know.
Monarch Room?
Yeah, the Monarch Room, where Jordan led worship, and it was the first time before this building was done. So that's been, 4 years?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm 4 years in. So, yeah, it's been, actually, that's crazy. That's been a long time.
That has been a while.
How long has the church been around?
almost 12 years total.
Oh, cool.
25%. Feels good.
So let's dig in a little bit. So you're an uncle.
Yes.
What are some of your favorite things to do as an uncle?
Wow, Coach Matt as an uncle. You'll find I like to call myself in third person. Uncle Matt,
Yes.
Coach Matt, Mr. Matt. I do it all the time. It's a habit.
You'll be a good dad.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Maybe a long ways off for some of us at
Yeah.
this age.
So Uncle Matt, let's see, my brother's kids, he has a 7-year-old who plays soccer, and that's super fun for us, just get out and play. He actually loves video games, which I'm not super into anymore, but we'll spend some time playing some video games. And we have Charlie, who is 2, and so she's a little diva, as we call it. I'm sure you dads know what I'm talking about.
I know a little bit about that.
So yeah, she really wants what she wants, and she gets it. So that's always fun. And then Evelyn is 8 months, so very little. So last time we interacted, she was showing me her shirt, so I showed her mine. So we did this for like an hour, just like we pulled our shirts at each other, and she just loved it.
Yeah.
She loved it. I was just like, this is our time to bond. We're gonna show each other shirts. So
Whatever makes you happy is
Yeah.
that's what we're gonna do. So.
and it's kind of fun. Me and my brother don't really look alike, but we kind of do. And so when the babies are little, they are confused if it's me or dad, like my brother. And so we'll like put our faces there, and then he'll put his face there, and they'll like look confused, like, is this dad? So that's always good too.
No, that's fun. Yeah, that's awesome.
I would be curious. This is putting you on the spot.
Okay.
A favorite, not the, because it'd be hard to figure that out. A favorite coaching story.
Oh my goodness. A favorite coaching story. I mean, there's been some ups and downs in coaching. Let's think. Oh, that's on the spot.
Is that a tough one?
No, that's
What
okay.
was your kind of the lead into that? Did you start playing and then decide that you liked showing people how to do things, and that was what led you to coaching, or did you start in coaching?
Yeah, so Brad Childers, Coach Brad, as I call him, he was the one that kind of got me into coaching, and he's like, hey, come out and hang out with my teams. I actually used to do like speed and agility for them, like because I used to love doing that.
Okay.
And then it kind of turned into like, oh, can you coach this little team? And it ended up being something that I love doing, just teaching him like the basics and all that stuff. Favorite memory, there's just a couple times when, even just this last year, I would say is one of my favorite times. I have a team with Dallas and Isaiah, like I mentioned, and we have a lot of younger kids, and they're very good. And so we play older teams, and there's just times where, there's just one time this kid, his name is, it was Brett actually that did it, and so when we do skills, when you beat someone, I always make this sound, like just for fun, like whoop, like, oh, I beat him, you know, like going in a new direction. And I never thought that would rub off on a kid. I never thought that would happen. And so in training, when I'm teaching him, I'm like whoop, and you know, I go in a new direction. And so Brett's 10 playing against 2 years older, because we played a year up. So, or I guess, yeah, he was playing 2 years older than him. And he does a skill, and I hear him go whoop. And I was like, oh no. But he beat the kid so bad, and it was just such a good moment to, I guess, see like my little kids, like they're little but they can just take anyone on. And Troy can, you know, he sees that every day too. Like these kids are amazing. Like
Yeah.
Dallas is incredible too.
So before we get into youth stuff and all that, I want to hear about college soccer. What
Okay.
is that like? What was awesome about it? What was tough about it?
Yeah. So I'll start with the bad and with the good. I don't know. It seems like a good way to go. The bad was that, unfortunately, when I went there, when I was a part of the team, I really struggled. Oh, that's my chapstick. I really struggled to find other believers on my team. And so even in a place like Rockhurst, Catholic school and all that stuff, I couldn't find true like godly men on my team. And a lot of men were so far the opposite direction that was a really big struggle for me, feeling alone and just feeling like I didn't have a community of men around me. And so those were just some weird times for me, even in my faith, like understanding like, okay, why am I here? Like this is, to me, it was a very, very dark place, and like I'm supposed to be a light in that dark place. So how can I be the light? So that was just a really tough time around the college scene, because as an athlete, all these people were, you know, partying and all this stuff, and it just wasn't my scene. And unfortunately, I wasn't bold enough back then to really stand up for I stood up for myself, and I was very vocal about what I believed in, but I wasn't as bulldog approach, as we call it nowadays, me and my friends, to like share the gospel with them. So I feel like I missed some of that, which is kind of unfortunate. But you learn things in different stages of your life. You can't always share it. There's times when you have to just learn. And so that was just a learning lesson for me. So that was kind of the dark side. The awesome side was playing college soccer. What a blessing it was. My coaches were incredible. My team was incredible. I lost 8 games in 4 years.
Wow.
So, and I played almost every minute of every game all 4 years. And so couldn't have asked for more there. I mean, that was just like, what a blessing to travel the country with teammates, win games. My coach, the most winningest coach in NCAA history, Tony Toko, I got his 700th win when we were there. So, awesome. Yeah, this guy's like a legend. In 1985, there was an article posted in the newsletter that said, Tony Toko is a legend. And in 2019, he's still coaching. Wow. So, yeah, this guy, I mean, he just asks so much of you, and you want to give it to him, which is super cool. He's an older teacher at Rockhurst. But yeah, just the memories of winning games. I mean, I just remember PK shootout my freshman year to go to the Final Four. We went to 10 PKs, which you guys soccer guys, usually it's 5. I'm sure you might know that. But if you're tied at 5, you keep going. And so we went all the way down to our 10th PK, and one more would have been our keeper shooting into their keeper. So it was like it's almost as far out as you can go. Like, wow. It was intense.
Okay. What happens after that, by the way?
1 for 1. You just go back through. But my coach, he's very, very, very old, and nothing against him. He knows it. And he wouldn't watch. I'll send it to him. He wouldn't watch. He just turned around and wouldn't watch, and so it was just how intense it was. Like it was crazy.
That's when they need to break out the tasers. You know what I mean?
That'd be such a more interesting game. Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of people say PKs aren't a fair way to end it, but it sure does get the heart beating. So yeah, that was a great memory.
Hey, could I ask a question?
Yeah.
And then we can rig up. I have to go do worship stuff too. Mm-hmm. So however it works out. But I want to ask a question that may or may not steer. But so you're talking about being, like an uncle, which is awesome. You clearly have like a desire to like pass good information on to kids, as the example holds from your little shuffle. And I know like it's probably fun to hear your little like isms get like spouted out years after. Yeah. So clearly you do have a passion for youth and young people. Is there some, I'm trying to think of the question behind this. What draws you to youth and young people, and how does that play into your desire to lead a mission trip that involves them and things like that?
Yeah, that's a great question.
Thank you.
So I actually didn't really realize until just a few years ago that I actually liked all of that. I think I was put in places where I was good at it, and I just didn't think it was what I wanted to do. And so really what it comes down to is when I was a kid, when I was like 11, my mom and dad just kind of had a falling out. My dad had an affair, and he kind of left and came back multiple times. Even on my 11th birthday, I remember sitting on the stairs watching him leave while all my friends were downstairs during my birthday party. So that was like a moment where I was like, holy cow. And dad's back, family's great, no problems there. But I just know that for the next couple years, I didn't have my dad, and even after that, it was just kind of awkward. The communication we had was just not the same as a normal dad that was there, just because of what happened. Like, I was like, is it my fault, blah, blah, blah. And so I think I missed out on ages like 10 to 14 to 15-ish. And even a little bit more, I would say. I just missed out on that. And I think that one of the things that the reason I like to give back is because I want them, if they need someone, I want to be there for them during that time, because I didn't have someone. But also, like, I just missed out on that. So just coming back and enjoying that with them, like realizing how important those 5 years were in my life, like, it just was so weird to navigate into manhood and into, like, you know, even college, like all those memories and all those feelings. If I can just show them that this is a time to have fun and a time to understand a little bit about God's word at this point where I didn't really get filled in by a man even, I think that's an awesome opportunity for me. And I don't know, I just feel like I have an ability to teach even just like soccer, the basics. I can just, kids love to listen to me and I love to listen to them and I love to have fun with them. I've done like I've done church camps, I've done summer camps. Like, I just like to be goofy, you know, with the kids, and I think a lot of kids relate to that. So that's a deeper answer to your broad question.
Was an awesome answer.
Yeah, that was amazing.
That's good. And with that, I'm gonna peace.
All right, Jason, have fun with your worship.
Thank you, and you guys keep it goofy up in here.
Oh.
Can you put like something on my chair? Can you get like a me?
No, I'm probably not going to do that.
Please?
That's a lot more than I'm prepared to do.
Well, but
If there's somebody out there who wants to help me edit, I'd be willing to let you help.
Oh.
So, shout out to the community.
Shout out.
see you guys.
Our youth group is going to the Dominican Republic, and you know, when you heard about this, what did you think? And then what's driving you forward to be a part of leading this?
Yeah. So when I heard about it, I was like, oh, this is lit. Like, let's another country. And like, how fun is that going to be? And I was like, oh, it may not happen. I mean, it's kind of hard to get all the planning done. I was like, that'd be fun. Like, it'd be super cool, but I don't know if that's going to work. And whenever we kind of started talking more about it, I was like, dang, this could be a really cool opportunity. And then even the vision behind, you know, possibly doing something every year. It's like, if we can get this one locked in, I'm like, man, we could really start something. And so that's one of the biggest things I think I love. I love like being in the ground on something and helping plan and start. That's like one of my, I would say, not passions, but something I love doing. Like, if I can get in ground, work hard, and build something, I love doing that. And so that's kind of what it feels like. We're kind of just like figuring out how to, you know, we don't know how to buy tickets for planes for, you know, 15 people. So we're kind of figuring that out. How do we plan out what we're going to do? So it's just like the whole planning process is really intriguing to me. But even for the kids, I never went on a mission trip when I was in youth, when I was a youth, because I didn't really go to youth when I was a kid. And I just think if you can get them into another country to see all that there's so much else in the world besides Kansas City. And I was lucky enough to travel for soccer to see, you know, the different sides of the United States even, but like, some of these kids haven't left Kansas City. And so just let them go to another country to see that there are problems and there are needs and there are people that are different than them and that need something, even if it's just a smile on our face, even if we can't communicate their language, even if we can just smile and show God's love to them. I think that's going to be awesome. And another thing is, it'll build so much community around this youth group that is just snowballing right now. I mean, when Tim took over 2 years ago, I think, you know, inconsistently 4 to 5 kids, I'd say we get 10 to 12, sometimes 15, and then plus all the leaders. I mean, this room is getting packed out. And so the snowball you can feel just even at the fundraisers and all this stuff. I'm like, this is the reason, you know, besides the trip, even the buildup is like part of the trip, because it's like growing community around these kids. And so I just think we have an awesome opportunity, and we're fortunate enough to be able to go. And so I think, why not, you know?
Yeah.
Why not go if you're called to go? So.
I know we're kind of wrapping up here, but if there is anybody listening to this that's like, hey, I like to work with teens, or I would love to get involved one way or another, what would you tell them to do?
So if you want to get involved, first of all, I would say find one of the elders here. If you want to get involved at New Life specifically, I know that Kid City is always looking for people. You know, if you have, you know, some inquiry about youth, I would say contact Tim Jansen. His information will be right here.
Thanks for giving me the extra work.
I'm kidding.
Jacob.
But I would say if you want to get involved in the youth in general, even as kids in the city, I think there's a lot of opportunities. I mean, going back to what Troy first mentioned, even the Boys and Girls Club, Troy found an opportunity where they had a basketball season, and halfway through, the second and third grade had no coach. And it's like, well, I don't coach basketball. I played in high school a little bit. You know, Troy played back in the day, but
way back
in the day. But it's like, you know what? We have the ability to coach soccer. You know, we can work with kids. Let's give back. And yeah, it was a little bit time consuming and a little bit unfortunate on the times we had to be there. But, you know, we impacted these kids, and some of these kids got a consistent person showing up in their life every week. And that could have been huge for them. Even if we didn't, you know, share the gospel with these kids, we showed them love that they may not get at home. And so I think there's opportunities like Boys and Girls Club and others in the city. And I would say if you want to get connected with that, also find an elder, because they could probably help you get connected to some of those things as well. So, and also if you want to help in any way with the mission trip, if you have any fundraiser opportunities, if you're watching, don't hesitate to contact us, because we're still looking to raise some money for some of these kids. So
that's awesome. Hey, can you tell? You get to tell the basketball story in 30 seconds, like
just the whole thing,
just real quick.
All right,
this is worth it. If you stuck around at the end of this is worth it.
So Troy calls me maybe 2 months ago and was like, "Hey, I'm trying to coach basketball," and I was like, okay. And he's like, "You played, right?" I was like, "Yeah, I played." And so he's like, "All right, we have an opportunity to coach the Boys and Girls Club on 43rd in Cleveland." And I was like, "Oh, okay." And so we show up day one, and there's probably 12 kids, 15 kids, 2 basketballs. And we're like, okay. And I would say 5 to 6 of the kids were wearing jeans, and there was the kid wearing cowboy boots. There was... it was just
and we had 2 games that night.
Yeah, we had. We show up at 5:15. Game starts at 6. Didn't even know it. Kids are like, we're giving them jerseys right then. 2 games that night. We didn't even know the rules.
It was crazy.
We were getting taught the rules during practice for the games, and we were there for like 3 hours.
We scored 1 basket over the period of 2 games.
Yeah, and that was just like, we were like, okay, we are here.
Starting point.
And okay, another thing, the team we were playing was wearing full uniforms, like decked out, like matching short shirts. Their parents were wearing the logo on their hoodies. The coach was like decked out. It was like a club basketball team, and we got pull-over jerseys and jeans on. It's like 2 different levels, and so. Then as the season goes on, we start training. We get 1 training a week for like 30 minutes maybe. And we start seeing a trend of some players that are doing pretty well, and some of the players kind of trickle off. And we get a core group of 5 or 6, I would say. And we kind of go with these guys, and we won a game, right? We won a game regular season, and we were 15th seed out of 15 teams. Tournament time comes, and it's a Saturday morning. And it's hard because Boys and Girls Club, usually the kids come after school, but Saturday morning their parents have to actually bring them that day. So it's a little bit different. Mm-hmm. So we got 5 kids, and we played the 2 seed, and the 2 seed forfeited. They didn't show up. So we're like, okay. And like way back when we first started, he's like, "Hey, we have a chance to play at the college basketball experience if we go to the Final Four." I was like, "Troy, there's no way we're doing this. Like, there's no way." Like, especially after night 1, I was like, there is no way. And here we are, 1 game away from the Final Four. And we have 5 kids there. We almost had to play with Ian on our team because we didn't have enough players, and Ian's a year younger. And Ian was on the bench ready to play. And so we had 4 players, and 5 came right at the game time. We're playing the game before the Final Four. And I think we won 8-6. And during the game, one of the parents came over to me and was like, "You better not lose this game. We need this game for Thornberry." And I was like, oh, no pressure. Like, holy cow. And we win the game, and I can barely get my kids to shake the other team's hands because all these parents are just rushing on the court. Like, the gym is so happy. And it was a big thing for the Boys and Girls Club the first year that 2nd and 3rd grade and kindergarten and 1st grade both went to the Final Four. Wow. Sad ending. You want to finish that one off?
Yeah, that's all on you because I wasn't even there that day.
Yeah.
So that's on you to get that win. And the next week, we couldn't get enough to show up for the semifinal game, and we had to forfeit the semifinal. But we're going to figure it out next year. We're going to pick everyone up if we have to. So
we're going to bring the bus around.
It's a good story. Good story.
Great memories.
Thanks, Matt. This is good. Jacob, you have any other final questions?
No, that was great. I loved hearing your story. That was awesome.
Awesome.
Please comment, subscribe to the channel page, and join us on Sunday mornings for our live streams that we have every week now. And
click here to see next week's video.
The worst. You know that?